Actually pay a financial penalty for having stolen. Give back what you stole and give them an extra chamesh, an extra fifth in addition to that. Second, you have to ask for forgiveness because you can't go to Hashem for forgiveness until you make your peace with the person that you've offended, the person you caused the Aharon to. You have to ask them to forgive you. That's where it all starts. This thing between man and his fellow man is extremely important. You know, Hashem has many, many children. To be close to exact, he has 7.5 billion crawling all over the face of this earth. They're all his children, every one. I don't care if they're in the United States, Israel, China, Yugoslavia, it doesn't matter where they are. They're his children. And the most efficient way to really tick off a father is to take advantage of his children, to be mean to his children, to not give them the respect that is due to them. So that's where you start. You start with the person that you stole from, you go back and you beg their forgiveness. And you beg their forgiveness. Now I will tell you, in some cases you will not always get it. There are some people who are very difficult. And if you've done your best to beg for it and you've made amends, you've done what you need to do so far. Now that you've done that, now you've got to go to the top dog. You have to go to Hashem. You have to ask Hashem for forgiveness for breaking one of his laws. The top 10. It's the top 10. You can't steal. Sorry. It's just not the way a society will survive. The 10 Commandments were given as a guide for living a life that is civilized, where man doesn't eat up his fellow man. It's important that we follow these, particularly these 10. And in addition to that, you remember we have the 603. Now, some of them, I agree, don't apply to you. There are things about agriculture which you don't have to worry about if you're a city dweller. There are things you don't have to worry about things that have to be done at the Beit HaMikdash in Yerushalayim, until again there is a Beit HaMikdash in Yerushalayim. So instead of having 613, you probably have only a mere 300 or 400 that you have to do. Each one is important. Which is the most important? That's a question everybody asks. And you know what the answer to it is? We don't know. We have no idea. We don't know what is the most important. That's why we have to treat them all as the most important. Stealing, I got to tell you, is going to be up somewhere towards the top because you're invading someone else's life by doing something like this. However, the good news is there's Teshuva. There's Teshuva. We talked about this. Before Hashem created the earth, he created Teshuva. Why? Because he knew that mankind could not survive on this planet without it. You have to have Teshuva. And what better time to realize this than right before the high holidays? It says right now that it's the month of Elul. The king is in the field. It's a pretty picture, isn't it? Hashem is in the field. What does this mean? It means he's closer to us. He's closer to us for our requests for forgiveness. He's closer to us for our requests in general for the coming year. He's more open because he's closer to us. This would be the time. If you haven't done Teshuva yet, then you want to do it. We talked about this when we talked about doing Hitbodedut. In Hitbodedut, we start with what? Gratitude, Teshuva, and then requests. If you're doing Teshuva every day, this is an amazing thing. A lot of people go into Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur, doing a lot of this. They beat themselves until they're black and blue. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But they beat themselves because a lot of them are scared to death. Because they know there are so many things they've done over the year that they had not already done Teshuva for. And they're trying to squeeze it all into this one day, or 2 days, or 3 days. Don't do this. Enjoy the high holidays. Enjoy Rosh Hashana. It's a time for gladness. You made it another year. Hashem has allowed you to live a whole another year. Trusting when I tell you this, and I'm sure you realize it. Not everybody had that luxury. Some people didn't make it through the whole year. You did. You know why? Because you still have something to do. I told you this before, that Hashem, on the day that you were brought to this earth, the day that you were born, realized that this planet that we live on could not survive without you.